Hello, and welcome to the next section on writing a business plan. This is something that a lot of people skip over because it can feel overwhelming and time consuming because you don't really feel like you'll need it. And a lot of times people only write a business plan when they're trying to get a loan or a grant or something along those lines. But I'm here to tell you that it is an important piece of planning for your business, and it can really help you think through some of the things that you might not really be thinking about when you're starting a business. And it helps you create contingency plans and exit strategies and all that kind of thing. And it can also really help guide you when you're making decisions about your business down the road or marketing or whatever the case may be. So in this video, we will go through creating a business plan and what the pieces are. And after the video's over, you can download the business plan and financial templates and work on your own business plan as well. You can also go ahead and download those documents and work through it as we're talking through it. That's another great strategy. Okay, why is a business plan important? Number one, it serves as a roadmap for your business. So you're basically thinking about your 3 to 5 to 10-year goal, what you want your business to be like, and all the pieces that it will take to get there, and really thinking through the foundational parts. You outline your business goals and growth strategy. It helps any business owner think through operational details and finance, as well as potential risks. It's a great short and long-term planning tool. It can be a great communication tool for business partners and team members. It can help you measure success, and it helps a business owner think through exit planning. Or partners is a really good tool for partners as well. The sections typically included in a business plan are executive summary, business description, market research and analysis, products or services, marketing and sales strategy, operational plan, management and team, financial projections, funding requests if you're going for a loan or a grant, appendices, which might include like resumes of key team members, market research data, product service literature, legal documents, any other relevant information to your business. It might include milestones and a timeline for opening or completing a project or expansion, whatever the case may be. And then an exit strategy is something I recommend, but it's not always included. So rather than just going through each of these pieces here, I thought what we would do is pull up the template, which I have added as a download to the next section of this lesson section, course, whatever it's called. So this is just a template. It's just an example to help get your juices flowing, get the brain moving on what to write for a business plan. A lot of people get overwhelmed and they blank out when they go to write it, but should not be so hard. And hopefully this will help you as you work through the pieces. So you would replace each of these items with your own business name and so on and so forth. And we have a table of contents, which you'd want to be sure to update if you decide to change them. And then if you had appendix, you would do like appendices and then list out what you were going to include. And then summary of presentation would be if you're presenting your business plan for a loan or for funding of some sort. You can delete this page if you're not doing that. But if you are going to do that, then you would want to update these sections. So these are just examples. They're in purple so that you remember to change them. Okay. And then the first piece, as we talked about, was the executive summary. So the executive summary should briefly summarize the entire business plan, provides an overview of the business, its mission, key goals, and the opportunity it addresses. It highlights the key points that make the business unique and compelling. So there's a little example of what a massage business executive summary might look like. You might want to build this out more, and really go into depth on your experience and, how you intend to change the industry or what is so special about your offerings. Maybe you would talk about, highlight your customer service skills and how you intend to make sure that every client coming in feels really special and cared for, or you've been trained in something special like Sarga bodywork, and that's what you're focusing on, and that's what's going to make you stand out in the market. So anything that you're going to include in the business plan should be summarized here, and anything that's going to make you stand out. This can be something that you can write in the beginning, or it could also be written last if you're not sure what you're going to include in the business plan. Sometimes it can be good to skip over the executive summary and go ahead and start with the mission statement and or objectives, and then you can come back and write the executive summary after you've completed all the other sections. And the objectives are mostly just what are your goals for your business. So I listed some examples here. So improve, whatever your business name is, cash flow by whatever dates. And you might include numbers there as well if you were including something like that. Grow your clientele by 10% per year, increase staff, expand into a new building. There are lots of objectives that you could have here. The next piece is the mission statement. Business description. So mission statement I've included here with the executive summary, so just as part of it. So you could include your mission statement here. It could be part of your business description. It's up to you. You can sort of switch these things around, but I liked it as part of the very opening piece because I was trying to get a loan when I created my original business plan, and I used that to help. I changed a lot of the sections here so to make it easy for you to use those, but this example was written with the idea of getting funding in mind. Keys to success. So what's going to make you stand out? What's going to make your business successful? That's a list there. And then moving on to the description of your business. So business description provides a detailed information about the business, its history, and its current status. Describes the business's mission, vision, and values. Explains the business legal structures, for example, sole proprietorship, LLC, or corporation. And you can list out if you intend to move from one business organization to another. So the description of the business is just where the business is located, what the space is like, what kind of services are offered, the primary goals of the team, the legal entity, what types of services are offered. We're breaking down the management roles and so on and so forth. Okay, and then the next section you might have is market research and analysis. Mine might be in a different order. That's okay. It doesn't have to be in this exact order, but we'll go through them as they're listed here. So market research and analysis offers insights into the target market that you've chosen, so your ideal clientele, which we talked about in previous videos, including its size, demographics, needs, and trends. It analyzes the competition and identifies businesses' competitive advantages and possibly also weaknesses. It includes information about market segmentation and the target audience. So for example, if you're targeting athletes, you might segment that into smaller groups, like groups that have similar interests but different needs ultimately, like the weekend warrior versus the true full-time athlete, something like that. Okay, let's see. Market analysis. I have that just one tab down here. So you can see the marketing mix, which is basically the main areas that we would focus our marketing efforts on: digital marketing, word of mouth, networking, and client retention. And then a market analysis basically is looking at the industry as a whole. You can find a lot of that information online. So what's happening with the industry of massage? Is it growing? Is it shrinking? What's the expectation of it for the next 5 or 10 years? And then also you can bring that down into the area. For instance, Portland, there's a lot of people who are really into being active, into health and wellness, making sure that they get to stay active. And a lot of people know about massage, and massage is covered by insurance here as well. So that's something that you could include in something like this. And then anything about your business as far as like your reputation or things that you've already established or that you intend to establish. And then if you have already been in business, then you can write about your existing clientele, or you can talk about how you're going to capture your ideal client and get them to come into your practice. And then you might talk about your competition and what is going to make you different than them, but what makes them different, from the industry as well. You might talk about your pricing strategy, your marketing plan. So I would recommend including at least like a year annual marketing plan, or you could even do a quarterly marketing plan, how you're going to implement that marketing plan. Okay. That one's quite lengthy. Again, you would detail out your products and services. So anything that you're going to be offering, you would include the features and benefits to your target audience in particular. You would discuss the product development and production process if it is products that you're making. And then we already did, this was kind of included in the business description, the marketing and sales strategy. I just showed that to you. That should outline the business's marketing approach and tactics for reaching your target audience. So again, we did the target audience first for a reason. It's really important that you know your target audience, your services, and your pricing strategy to write the business plan. Discuss your sales channel, distribution methods, and sales projections. So we would be including financials, at the very least projections in a business plan, and I'll show you those here shortly. But sales channels would be like, are you going to sell, if you're selling products, obviously, are you selling those on your website? Are you selling them through Instagram? Are you, doing in-person sales, door-to-door sales, whatever the case may be? For massage therapists, it's pretty straightforward. But if you're doing any online sales like gift certificates, memberships, packages, those would be good things to list out as well. And then the next little piece on here is the operational plan. That basically provides an overview of the day-to-day operations of the business. It should discuss your location, facilities, equipment, and technology requirements, and include information on your team, staffing, management, and key personnel. And you want to list all of these out, even if you're the one doing everything. You would just put your name beside each role. Let's see if I have that here. So we have the management. Okay, I'll update this and make sure that there's a better section for the operations outline so that you have that by the time you watch this video. The download that you have will have that piece in it more clearly. But you did see that I outlined the management section, and we'll have all of those other pieces in there as well. Okay, and management and team, that's a repeat. So you would introduce the management team and key employees. I've done that in other parts of the business plan. You would highlight their qualification, roles, and responsibilities, something you can also do in the executive summary, or you can have it be its own section. And you would discuss each team member's expertise and contributions to the business, or this would be just describing yourself if you're a solopreneur. Like I said, we would be doing financial projections. So you should be presenting financial statements if you've already been in business, including income, balance sheet, and cash flow. And then you also should have projections like expense forecast, break-even analysis. And then if you're requesting funding, you should be including your funding requirements, where you're looking for funding, and any return on investment that you would be giving investors if that's what you're looking into. Same for funding request is I pretty much a repeat there. And then appendices would be, like I said, including your resume, any market research data, your any product service literature, like if you're creating business cards, door hangers, rack cards, postcards, anything like that, you would want to include in your business plan if you're showing it to other people. If it's just an internal document, no need for all that. Any legal documents like your business license, all of that good stuff, and any other relevant information that you can think of that if you're seeking funding or you're showing your business plan to someone else for a reason, then you would want to include, obviously, everything that legitimizes your business for them. Again, if this business plan is related to a project that you're asking for help with, or you're trying to show someone else, then you would outline that in a document. This is the project. We're expanding. We're buying a new building. We're building out a new building. We're adding a new service which requires a build out, something like that. Then you would make sure there was a detailed outline of that in the business plan. And then I highly recommend an exit strategy. I will add an example of that to the business plan as well, so that you can think through a contingency plan for if you just decide you want to close the business, if you decide you want to sell the business, if you want to retire from the business, if you get sick and you need someone else to come in to run the business. It's really good to think through all of that in advance so that you have a plan if that time does come. All right, let's look at some of the financials. So one of my favorite forecasting tools is very simple. It is this financial forecasting for wellness businesses document, which I have included in the downloads. And there's a video linked here that also walks you through how to use this document. I will very briefly go through it because that video is much more thorough. But basically, this is helping you look at your pricing strategy, as we talked about before. So by putting in all of your expenses here, and then putting the average amount you're going to charge per massage, plus the amount of massages you think you'll perform per month, basically it comes down to how much you have to charge per session, and then what your cost per client is. And this gives you a little bit of just financial forecasting in the way of expenses. Okay. And then we have the balance sheet. This is something that financiers at least like to see in your business plan, not necessarily something you would have to have if it's just an internal document, but it's basically looking at your assets and liabilities, something I will also include in the downloads. And reach out if you need help using it. Should be pretty straightforward, I think. And then the profit loss statement is exactly what it sounds like, profit loss. If you're using something like QuickBooks, you can just generate these once you have income coming in. But basically, it should also be pretty straightforward. I put example numbers here in all of these documents so that you can see them. But you have your product sales, service sales, rental income, cost of goods, which would be like if you're buying products to sell, that would be your cost of goods. And then you have your gross profit line, which is adding all of those lines above. Then you have your expenses. And then add backs are basically things that kind of give you a credit towards your expenses versus income. And then you have your net profit. So obviously for a loan, obtaining loan purposes, it could be good if this is negative and bad if it's negative. Over time, obviously you would want it to get positive. And you would also want to show in a cash flow statement how the loan helps you become positive, even with the loan payment included. Alrighty, and last but not least, we have the cash flow projections. So basically what you're doing here is either going back in time and adding what was true, what you actually paid out and what you sold, or adding your projected expenses and projected sales so that you can see here, are you profitable or are you losing money? You can see here again. So these are important metrics for someone who is looking at your business and trying to evaluate it to see if they want to give you funding or buy it or whatever the case may be. But it's also something that's really important for yourself to be able to predict what your cash flow is going to look like from month to month. So you might start with like, these are my projected financials if you're new, and then, have another set of financials that are realistic so that you can start seeing how you're matching up to your goals, and just making sure that you recalculate if things aren't looking like what you thought they were going to, and readjusting. Did you set your prices high enough? Are you going to have enough money to break even? So we have our, our break even point. We know we need to make at least 7 D185, and we need to have 68 massages per month coming in. So what happens when we don't make those numbers? Those can be things that you can also think through when writing your business plan. That can be one of your contingency planning items, is what happens if I don't make enough to cover my expenses? What happens if I don't make enough to cover my salary? Usually this will only really be a problem in the beginning. If your business is successful, you can count on it building over time and hopefully growing as it should. If it's not, then maybe you need to try something new or get some help to troubleshoot what might be going wrong. But typically it takes a while for clients to learn about a new business. They need to see your marketing, see your signage, hear about you kind of over and over and over again to really take the leap of coming to your business. So the more you're, putting yourself out there, growing your reputation in the community, the more your business is going to grow naturally. And, usually by year 3, let's say, a business can be pretty established and you might start to see things really start to grow at a higher rate. So it's a little outside of what we're talking about with the business plan, but it's just something to think about when you're doing financial projections. My advice is always to try to project on the lower end versus the higher end, and then be pleasantly surprised, versus projecting on the higher end and then being in a pickle financially. Okay, so that's a quick overview of business plan writing. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have along the way as you work through writing your own business plan. Again, I will give you an updated version of this business plan document with all the pieces in the same order that I have here on this list and all the pieces included, as well as all of these business plan financial documents to play around with. And if you feel like you're getting stuck or overwhelmed, but you still want to complete the business plan, you can reach out to me anytime at massagebusinesscoach@gmail.com, and I will be happy to help you. If it's quick questions, I can typically answer those via email or the chat. But if it's something longer, then we may need to schedule a coaching session, and I can fill you in on what those details are after we chat. I always offer a 30-minute free consultation, so just keep that in mind, and send me an email. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you all the best in writing your business plan, and I wish you so much success. Thank you.